Buy The Apprentice, become a school teacher, have less time, and then go backwards because they can't go out and quote jobs.
I had my best mate pass away at 36 years old. I learnt more from him where it's like, really, it's not that bad. That's as bad as it gets.
Where did you start in order to position yourself in this luxury space?
Welcome back to the Built for More podcast by Premier & Co. Today, we have special guest Justin Hill from JSH Projects, based in the Central Coast, who's known for their award-winning builds and luxury developments. Justin, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, mate.
I probably want to kick it off. Mate, where did it all start? How did it start?
Well, mine's a little bit of a different story, I think, compared to most builders. Look, I worked in the building game for a long time, but mainly down in Sydney, like on bigger projects. And I used to sort of contract to bigger builders down there and run their projects down there. And then
were you born in
I was
Sydney?
born in Sydney,
Yep.
but I moved, I've been on the coast since I was like 6.
Yep.
And then came up here. I was heavily involved in rugby league, so that was me number one thing. That fell through with some injuries and a couple of other things. So, moved into sort of buying property and flipping them. Did that before I had my business for a very long time, 10 or so years. I don't know how many we've done, but we've done a lot. Built up some capital, and then the coast started doing some big sales. Like, 3 million used to be a big sale back on the coast back in the day. And
Mate, I remember when it was, I remember purchasing a property for $1 million, and it was like buying something today for, $6 million.
Yeah.
Like, far out, you're buying a property for $1 million. Now it's like first home buyer.
And that's in 10 years. Like, it's just crazy.
Fast.
Yeah.
It's
I think
moved
it's
so quick.
the proximity to Sydney now, So, and most of my clients are like Sydney based, but like I grew up in Umina, so Umina and Morway. So we never thought that place would hit $1 million properties. It's standard now, so. After a while, when the price started getting bigger, I was like, no, I need to start my own business up here. And obviously there was money coming to the coast. So, probably 6 or so years ago was when JSH started. So, and then, got our first project and the way we went. But I was pretty heavily, like, I really wanted to focus on the brand. So I'd play catch up with a lot of other builders that have been around for a while, real good builders. And for me, I was mainly going to sort of back up the my flips, and I was going to turn it more into a development company, but it sort of went both ways, so clients and development. So
I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss is that, and personally for myself, this is exactly what I did, is I went full-time into property development. Yeah. We have a skill, and our skill is building something. Yes. And, we love building things, and I think it took me a while to figure that out. But doing your own developments, mate, it's a win-win situation, especially if you actually keep the business alive,
100%. Yeah, and for us, at some stages, it did keep the business alive. Like I said, we started right before COVID, like a year before COVID. So it was like, here we go. But we rode through that, and considering we're only a young company, but it's definitely helped our business out a lot, and I think it's helped get our brand out a lot more too, because obviously, some of our developments I think have been pretty good, especially the last late ones, the designs and trying to push them, and I think that's uplifted the business quicker, because at the end of the day, if you're on the client side, you're building what the client wants. So
I've seen your builds and they're absolutely amazing. So credit to you. But in terms of your team base inside of the client base side, how big's that at the moment?
So generally we run around anywhere from 10 to 14, give or take, depending on where we're at and, I guess things that happen throughout, people's careers. Some leave, some come. But generally we're at about 10 to 14. In the office, we've got I've got the project manager, a construction manager now in Maddie, and myself and like an EA. And then outside we've got, like, depending on how many projects you run, we'll have a supervisor for each project. And then we've got in-house bricky and obviously all chippies, and then...
Oh, you got an in-house bricky. That's awesome.
Brother-in-law, mate.
And all the chippies are in-house as well. They work for yourself directly. Yeah.
I don't know how, I was actually having a discussion on the way up here today. I don't know how long we'll run like that. But we always have chippies in-house because I think we're pretty critical with our fit-outs and our finishes. But like, we're building in Sydney now too. So obviously we've got a great new supervisor down there that we nailed it on the first crack. So I was pretty happy about that. He's killing it down there. So we're in the pilot stage down there at Balmain, 2 houses.
Oh, nice.
And we'll run that one heavily contract based from down there. So, we'll get all the team in, and we might go down and maybe do the finishes and fit it out. So we're going to see how that one runs down there. And if it runs really well, because at the moment it's going really good, we'll still keep our guys, but maybe run a bit leaner and maybe contract the framing and stuff like that. But we generally do our own framing. Yeah, it depends on the builds, but you know, you get the conventional ones. It's pretty good with the carpet that's coming into all the framing. If the design's pretty heavy, sometimes you need it in house.
Yeah. Justin, going back to the start, it was just yourself and a labourer, right? And then you decided to go full-time out on your own after working for bigger companies. What was that switch like that made you go, I need to do this for myself and go all in? Because a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, look, I've got, mate, I've always had big ambitions, and maybe it might have been slower than others, but you know, I was heavily involved in the flipping, and then when footy stopped, I was like, I need to do something else. So yeah, went down there, started doing that for some companies down there, and like I said, it was just me and a labourer, so I was just hiring him out and a clip off him, and then I was running the builds on a pretty good, decent wicket. And then after the last one down at St. Ives, I was just like, I was involved in another business as well, which is insurance build, and you know that's going really well, but wasn't my passion, so I really wanted to stay with the architectural stuff. And then said, no, well, I'm going to give it a crack. So, yeah, one of the guys I built a mate's house with jumped on board with me. He's a champion. He ended up being like a supervisor and a good chipper with us. And then he brought one of his mates on, so it was just three of us. So did our first project together, and that was given to us by McGrath, that job, as I was telling you before.
Was that the job that kind of set everything up? It was a full
It was the
build?
first client one. Yeah, it was just a reno.
Yeah.
Yeah, full difficult little reno in it was about 350, 400K or something by the time of the end of it in McMaster's Beach where I live.
Which is decent back then, right?
Yeah, for reno, it was pretty decent back then. And yeah, we done well, we nailed it, and then just pushed the brand. And obviously I sold one of my developments in Max at the time. It was a nice home too, so I was able to push off the back of that as well. And then just the builds just sort of started coming in from the client end, and just had to keep getting that homeowner's warranty up and up.
Yeah. I think that's what everyone's struggling with at the moment, because it's getting tighter and tighter, right?
Yeah.
I want to draw it back a bit. You mentioned about footy. What was, I always like hobbies, and I like to know people's interests and their drivers. And I think, you know, football, there's a lot of people that are listening to this right now that follow the footy. Where'd you play? Who'd you play?
Well, I grew up, like, obviously my whole family's from South Sydney, mate. So all my family went for South. My cousin is Terry.
It's a pretty solid supporting network.
Yeah,
old Rabbitohs.
For the Roosters. And then, my whole family's heavily involved in it. As I said, Terry was my cousin. My dad played for Newdown. So heavily involved in that, and it was boxing and rugby league really growing up. And then, played on the coast. Played with the rep sides up there, and then obviously when you hit 15, 16, you shuffle off. A lot of the boys went to North, so I went to Manly. Played there for a fair while. Brett did a really good injury, as we were talking about before. And then had another shot, but did another injury with my shoulder with the Roosters, and then I ended up going to playing the Jim Beam Cup for a few years. That was fun, and then came up here and played with the Scorps up this way. Went overseas and played a bit, and then come back. Had 1 year with Kingcumber Colts, where my boys play now, and I coach them.
Nice.
Won the grand final, pulled the pin, done.
Yeah. Hung the boots up.
Hung the boots up. Put everything into what we're doing now, and still love riding the motorbikes.
Yeah.
And so do my kids, and grew up surfing a lot, but I'm just struggling to get out of the water.
Yeah.
The other hobbies.
Yeah. In terms of, I guess, where the business is at now, right? You've grown substantially, and I think there's so many lessons that you take throughout that journey. What's the difference from when you started hiring your first team to where you are now? What's the difference in team culture and the way that it's structured?
Yeah, so I was, like I said, I was heavily involved on the brand, but I'm not going to lie, I had a no dickhead policy. So, and that's big. Like, I wanted to work with people and have people in the business that wanted to be there and enjoyed being there. And at the end of the day, it's hard enough for people to go to work. So if you can make them happy and go to work, that was a
100%
big play that I used. And we've had great people work with us and work for us. So that was huge. And then obviously when it's like you get to this transition point, which was hard, and we're moving pretty fast. I think we sort of doubled every year type of thing. Like I said, it's only really 6 years old. And then I'm on site and then going home working till 12 at night on the computer, and I'm like, I just can't. You know, I'm missing my kids' stuff, and like my two first boys, I really didn't, pick them up from preschool or do any of that. So I went hard for like 3 years, and then I couldn't pull away. You know, I knew I had to get off site, but it's still early, but I knew I had to get away and stay on top of stuff in front of the computer. So I ended up doing that. And then that worked, and I put faith in the boys that I had. Like I said, the 2 boys I had at the start, and then brought in another couple.
Was that hiring, or was that giving more responsibility to the guys you had?
To the guys now,
yeah.
And then the next transition. So me staying at home, staying off the tools was hard, and I love being. I love mate. I'd rather be on site than in the office. I'm not and that was hard, but I did it, and I stuck to it, and it worked. Then the next play was righto. You need a project manager, so. I was scared to do that too, then you go, right, I've got to throw in another 200K or whatever. So I did that. That worked. And then this is like, no, I've got to keep building. I've got to go with the grow, really. I've got to keep going with it. And so that was, I think that's the hardest play. I think people just need to understand if the business is growing, you've got to grow with it. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing mental hours. And I didn't want to do that, And then I had a daughter. She's only 6, and I'm like,
missing out on
time. I want to pick
time.
her up from school. I want to do this and that, and coach the kids. So, and that's what I do now.
Well, people hesitate spending the money on a good team member because they're looking at the dollars in the bank, right? In terms of, what it's going to cost me rather than what it's going to make me in the long run.
Yeah.
You can pay a project manager 130K, or you can pay them 170 or 200.
Depends what you want.
Exactly right. And what it's going to do for you in the business, that's the difference.
This episode is brought to you by Premier & Co. We help builders and tradies step off the tools, build solid teams, and scale profitable businesses that don't rely on them 24/7. So if you're looking to grow your business and you're sick of being the bottleneck in your own company, head over to premierandco.com.au and book a strategy session.
Yeah, and look, and then I realised, I saw his first email, I was like, he needs to keep emailing, I need to stop emailing, so everyone's got their strengths, and you've got to realise that, and you've got to listen to blokes that are better than you in that position. That's what I've learned, and I will always listen, I'll be better at something, but I know for a fact that they're better than me at that. So I've worked out to leave them doing that. And just like I said, I kept bringing people in, then got an EA, and then I've only just made my last transition now, and it was and I like to keep things in-house. Like if I can, I'll give my boys the shot. So we had a reshuffle at the start of the year. Project manager went, and I had a guy from T Corp working for us it's a big company from Sydney, and then he was working for us as a supervisor, and I said, do you want to be our project manager? He goes, I know what that entails, because he was their project manager. And he's brilliant, man. Like, he's unbelievable, Simon. So they'll be ripping away now. And then I said, I felt like there was a link, like something missing between the site supervisor and the project manager. If you're a project manager and you've got 4 site supervisors hammering you, you sort of need to hear it from one voice. So got another supervisor, Matty, who's been for 7 years, one of the most loyal blokes ever, and put him into a construction manager role. So he's the link. So he'll be in the office maybe 1 day a week, and then he's just bouncing between sites, and then bounce between site supervisor and project manager. And that's worked really well. And then I brought chippies up to be supervisors, and some can handle it, some can't. It'll be told in a couple of weeks, but and it just helped them as well, because they're jumping into a new position that's completely different. You go from a carpenter to a supervisor, that's a big jump. I think that's the biggest jump. So we're doing that. We're implementing that now, and it's working really well. That's been running now for probably about 5 months, the way it is now.
There's 2 things there. One is consistent growth inside of the business, like team members knowing that, they can grow, they can achieve their goals, etc., which I think is massive. And then the second thing is a chain of command. It's like in the military, right? Like there's always information is diluted once it gets to the top. And if information is going directly to the top, what you'll find is that the owner or whoever's at the top is actually getting dragged back into the business on a consistent basis, which slows down all the progress. So if you're out there listening right now, one of the biggest things that you need to focus on is chain of command. Who and what.
Creating space between yourself and the team, because there's so many questions that come through that can be answered by people on site, right? Even though you're the owner of the business, the person on site probably has a better answer to that problem than you do. So, making sure that you are creating that space between you and the team.
100%. Yep.
You're also mentioning, one of your newest hires now, right? And that's, $200,000 or whatever it may be. Let's go back to when I guess you were on site and you were kind of doing everything, and you were, coming back home and working late at night and missing out on picking up the kids, etc. That's actually a really challenging time. Yeah. And a lot of people, it's easy for us to say it now because we've done it, right? But it actually is. And if you look at anyone, there's probably a lot of people listening right now that are going, that's me.
Yeah.
Well, that's all of us. Yeah. And I probably
And
want to
you gotta
put
do it.
you've got to do it, but I probably want to put it out here because it is hard to spend that money, and it is hard when you're scaling. Like whether you're at $1 million, whether you're at $10 million, regardless, you're actually pretty strapped.
Yeah.
No matter what level
are.
it is,
In-
right?
in
You
this
push.
industry, yeah.
The builds get bigger.
Yep.
The costs get bigger.
Problems get bigger.
The wages get bigger. The problems
The
get
clients
bigger.
get more demanding.
100%. So I always say you matched at your level. It doesn't matter where you're at. You just match to that level. Plus, you get bigger. Your lifestyle gets bigger, right?
Yeah.
You buy nicer shit. You buy a bigger house, etc.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I guess initially at the start, you're so pushed for time.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're making ends meet. So you probably don't necessarily see the dollars in the bank account straight away.
Nah.
And a lot of people
Takes
pull
some
back
work,
and they go backwards. How did you do it? You know?
Oh, mate. I guess for me, like because I flipped a lot and built up a bit of capital before it, I put heaps of money. in
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
So I never borrowed any. Obviously, borrow from the money from developments and real estate and all them sort of things, but I don't borrow for the business. I would borrow for myself and put it in and just give it a nudge, give it a crack, and you see you're not gonna see it in the first 6 months. You're just not. Like you're not gonna pay someone 150, 200K and then expect to see results in 6 months.
That's right.
Write it out. Yeah. And then the processes get better, procedures get better, they implement better stuff, and which I think we're doing now better in the last 5 months. And same when I put on Matty, that's another big wicket from supervisor to construction manager. But I've done that in between 3 jobs that are halfway through. So I didn't account for that cost in them jobs. But
That's right.
I'm willing to go for it because it's going to be better. But I'm definitely not going to see it for at least 6 months, maybe longer on this one because I've got to wait for those jobs to end and then implement his costs into the next jobs in the prelims. So.
What's it done for you in the interim though, in terms of like number one, brain capacity, but number 2, time during the week?
Yeah, it's time. So for me, my brain doesn't stop. So I've got a fair few things I want to do. I was talking to a few about them before, and I need time to do them. And when I do my developments, I'm heavily involved. I'm heavily involved in the design. I'm heavily involved in going through the interiors, picking colours, and I'm there. Like I'm there all the time. Like I'll just if I'm doing one and it's coming towards fit out, I'm there the whole time. Because I just have this thing in my head and I need it to be exactly the way I envisioned it. So. Yeah, it's I guess for me the time thing's huge because I really need to. I know, like I said to the boys, I went in the other day. I said, listen, Tuesdays I'm not here. That was I said that yesterday to Matt and Simon. I'm just going to take Tuesdays off because I'm trying to blend it through the days. And you know yourself, you need to get into a rhythm, especially when you sit in the office and you got a list you need to do for say JSH. I want to do that, but then something might jump in from something else and then it slows it down. So I'm like Tuesdays I'm not here. I'm going to shut off. I'm not going to do anything with JSH. I'm going to focus on the other things I'm doing, such as developments, other business ventures and whatnot. I'm going to put the whole Tuesday into that and then just roll and see how that rolls. But it's give me that time to do that. Without those 2 boys, I couldn't.
I had a conversation around this the other day, and I've just removed myself from another business, right, that I'm involved in. And I guess it always comes back down to sharing the vision because the conversation that I was having, right, he's kind of pushed himself outside of the business and his team members are like, oh, how come you're not rocking up? How come you're here? What's he doing? And I said, well, one thing that helped me was actually sharing the vision of why I'm doing it. So it's the same with you, right? You're like, well, mate, I'm not sitting on my ass at home. The reason why I'm doing it is because I'm putting more money into the developments. I'm making more money there, which then supports you guys, which then grows the business because JSH is doing the building, et cetera, et cetera. So give people the reason why.
Yes.
What is the why, you know?
And I'm pretty raw when I talk to them, like especially those boys and anyone really. And I sat them down in the room yesterday and I told them what I'm going to do. And then I also, as I told you, about the new business that we're going to start and then what it's going to do. Because I've got ideas for in 2 years what I'm going to do for JSH as well. And then give them the vision of what that new business is going to give JSH. We're going to be building some completely different stuff and it's going to run off the back of that new business. So give them that vision. And that's what I did yesterday. And they're like, oh yeah, this sounds cool, And these guys are loyal, they want to stay. So I want to paint a picture of what we're going to get in the next 3 or 5 years to keep them, wanting to stay, So I know what you mean about painting the picture.
What about for yourself, right? And I feel like a lot of people don't touch on this. Some people do. For me personally, I reckon it's a big builder for what I've achieved in my life personally, and that's actually creating a vision and a plan for yourself. You know, some people create a vision board, some people write it in their notes, some people tell themselves on the way to work, whatever it is. What did you envision when you started, and have you achieved certain parts of that already?
Yeah. Oh, look, my appetite for success and I guess satisfaction dwindles. Like it goes, well, I'll do something, and then I'm over it. I move on pretty fast. Like I don't hold I should, but I don't hold the satisfaction for too long. So for me, I think I have. Well, even the missus said, look, do you think we would be doing now what you were 10 years ago? But I don't look at that. But when you do look at it, you go, yeah, maybe we have hit what we want to hit, and maybe more. But then there's a bigger picture. So, I always, and me, I'm probably, I'm more in the car telling myself, talking to myself probably. No, I don't have no radio, no music on, no nothing. People jump in the car and go, it's just blank.
Yeah.
So that's probably my time where I do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And try and, paint the picture for myself and what I want and what I see and what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
I probably don't have time to I'd love to do the collage and all that sort of stuff. I've got mates that do it and other people that I know, and I just probably wouldn't. I tried it and I just don't look at it enough. So for me, it's the car time.
I agree, because it was the same with me.
Yeah.
I had a bloke who's passed away now, but helped me a lot, right? He was came from nothing, built up a really successful plumbing company, lost it, could tell the true story, right? One of those blokes. And when I was 21 and I first started my construction company, it was like you're a rocket scientist when you started a business. Yeah. Now it's like kids have 35 businesses and it's fucking normal. Yeah. So it's, but one thing he said to me, he goes, Joe, have you ever heard of affirmations? Thought, fucking, is this bloke smoking crack or what's he talking about? And I'm talking like there was nothing of this. There's people on social media telling you about it.
Well, there was no social media back then. Like
Conor
Instagram
McGregor's,
Reels weren't even
around.
around.
Say you thought were crazy.
Yeah. And Conor McGregor's jumping on stage now, and it all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But back then it didn't. And so he goes, "Have you ever heard about affirmations?" I thought, affirmations. He goes, mate, when you're in the car, I want you to look yourself in the fucking revision mirror, and I want you to say, I am Joe Berryman, and this is what I drive, this is what I build, this is whatever it is, right? Yeah. And he said...
I'll give you a funny story after this.
Yeah, he goes, it'll come to life, it'll happen. I thought, fucking, this bloke's on crack. Anyway, I had a really tough time inside of my business, and I woke up one morning and I thought, what the fuck do I have to lose? I was going to wake up and say to myself, so I woke up every morning, I'm like, I am Joe Berryman and I have X amount of dollars in my bank account. I am Joe Berryman and I have successfully completed this development, so on and so on. Naturally in life that happened. And, the old saying goes, if you have the courage to speak it and you're willing to tell people based upon it and speak it out to the universe, it will come into your lap.
It goes off feeling right.
Bingo.
Well, you got to actually, that's the thing.
You got to feel it.
You got to feel like you've already got it.
But you hear someone that's struggling, right? Someone might have a really good business, might be very successful. Us three, could look at that business and go, fuck, mate, you're on a gold mine. Just keep going straight. It's all good. Yeah. And they could just be down in the dumps telling you the worst things ever. Yeah. That person talks to that person, talks to that person. He's saying it's shit. You're saying it's shit. Yeah. Next minute it is shit. Yeah. So it's like,
100%.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like it's, and I've tried to do a few things and stuff like that, but I know the car thing's a big thing. I said to my missus yesterday, I said, nah, I'm gonna really put some effort into it every morning. Like I get up and train in the morning, or I go for a walk at Terrigal, and then me and my mate train the RV, every RV, but I'm like, I'm gonna get up a bit earlier. I'm just gonna give myself half an hour and give it a crack. I was driving the car yesterday and didn't know what to say, and I just whacked it on Spotify and just said what she was saying back.
Yeah.
Gave it a crack in the car yesterday, so we'll keep doing that and see what it brings. But
there's a book and a movie, and it's called The Secret. And I was just speaking about Conor McGregor before, he preaches it, right? Yeah. A lot of other actors do and celebrities, but there's some things inside of that book that will blow your absolute mind.
I bought it 2 nights ago.
Perfect. Yeah.
Put it on my Kindle, so
there
that's
you go.
the next one.
The stars are aligning.
I'm going to shoot on at the moment.
Yeah. And it's huge. Like, I grew up as
Matt Steinway said about that one to me.
Yeah.
And another one. So
it's massive. Well, look at his incredible journey and his story. Look where he's came from. Look what he's achieved. Like there's a reason for it.
Well, there's more science coming out about it now as well. Change the way that you feel, change the way you act, and then you attract right people, and then you won't tolerate that conversation. You won't put yourself around that person. And
that's one thing I've worked heavily on in probably the last few years is just chopping off, just chopping off stuff that
If it doesn't serve you as a person, it doesn't make you feel good, or it doesn't serve the future, you don't want to be around it. And some people call it arrogant, or what did that person change? And well, I actually did change, and I did it for a reason. It's because it's creating the person that I want to become, because I know who that is.
Well, you consistently level up. People choose to come with you or not. That's fucking. That's their problem.
You know the ones that want it.
Bingo, 100%.
So I'm on the. I've been going to Sydney a lot lately, probably once a week lately, because so much more opportunity down there, and we've got good contacts down there, and it's just different. I've been hanging around about 4 or 5 blokes down there. We go out for lunch and talk business and talk about possible ventures that we're going to do.
Different conversations.
It's like, it's completely different. And you come back buzzing, you enjoy it. So, yeah, I'm on that sort of path at the moment, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
100%. It's your environment and what you speak out to the universe, big key players in 100%. Anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was speaking about before.
And I'd be one of the last blokes back in the day that would be
into it.
jumping on it. It's shown.
Yeah.
We're talking about footy and sports, right? I grew up doing a lot of sports, and you look at any kid that gets sponsored. Why does a 10-year-old kid or a 12-year-old kid get sponsored? And he might not be that great, right? The reason why is because it actually gives him the understanding of what he can achieve, and he feels that. So he's like, "Oh, cool! Got the sticker on the board, or the dirt bike, or whatever." They go better because they believe in themselves.
Yes, 100%.
It's the same shit. So if you're out there right now inside of your business, and you probably, don't have a really clear understanding of what you're going to achieve,
going through a difficult situation, you can't see the light.
Get clear on it. Start fucking being
right
positive
people.
to yourself. Yeah, find the right circle. Find the right environment.
Write down what you want. Put it up on the dartboard and start aiming at it. It's 100%. That simple at the end of the day.
What do you think now in terms of where you were to where you're positioned now inside of your company? What do you think are the most important hires that to where you're at right now, situated inside of your business, that helps you get back your time?
Yeah.
And you couldn't do it at all without them, or without someone in that position?
Yeah, well, at the moment, as you all know yourself, building and construction's got so many moving parts. I think it's probably one of the hardest businesses to run. I agree. I personally, I don't care what anyone says. I really do feel it is. You need a lot of resources. You need a lot of money. And now I just wouldn't be able to do it without the management now, because that's where all my time was going at the end. And if I'm doing 3 people's jobs, it's taken a lot of time. So if you want your time, you've got to well, first you got to get off the tools. Like unless you just want to, there's some people out there who just want to have 2 chippies with them and a labourer and bang out one house at a time. That's mad. Sometimes they're more profitable. But if you sort of want to step back and you want your business to move and grow, and then give yourself some time, because at the end of the day, what do they say? If you got a business, you got to be there all the time. You're an employee of your own business. So if you want to move away from that, you've got to. At the end of the day, what's the worst thing? It doesn't work out. Sorry, mate, you got to go.
Sack him.
Sorry,
You're
mate,
back to where you were anyway.
You might have spent 50 grand.
A month's worth of wages. Who cares?
Done, you know? So it's not going to burn you, but you got to give it a try. And I got told by other people to give it a try, and I did, and I couldn't go without the management now. Not for where I'm at and what I want to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do the other things. Other people might just want time with their family, which I wanted at the start. Yeah, get yourself a good manager that's loyal, that you can trust, that you resonate with. The team I've got now, management, compared to the one I had before, it's like we bounce off to each other. We had a couple of beers yesterday afternoon after it, just had a chat. It's just easier.
You mentioned you got chippies that you've kind of upgraded into supervisor roles. How does that work in terms of leadership? Is that something that you teach them, you coach them and train them in order to get them up to scratch where they need to be?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So Matty Dimmick's a prime example, right? You'll love that I'm talking about him too, just quietly.
Shout out, Matty.
Yeah, shout out, Matty. I'm going to give another shout out here too. I'll do it at the end. But he started, when I was working for another business and I was in that insurance industry, we did a McGrath fit out up at Tukley, and a bloke came along. He was funny, as mad chippy, and we got on well. And he's taken off to go around Australia. And I said, mate, if I start a business, I'm going to ring you. Anyway, started the business, and then I heard he came back, so he came straight on. He's been for 7 years now. Started as a chippy, and then because we're doing a couple of smaller jobs as well as bigger jobs back then, it was a bit easier. I was able to throw him into couple of smaller jobs like a deck or whatever and this and that. And we might have had 2 new builds going and the supervisors were doing that. I was able to throw him into that and then teach him through that. then roll him into a renovation. It was perfect for him. And then roll him through into a new build, and then he was just hammering them out. And now that's one now I've put as a construction manager.
Yeah.
So that was perfect. But now we're doing bigger builds, and I guess a prime example, we got one of our guys leaving in a few weeks. Jed's been with us I didn't put on apprentices. I just didn't want to.
Tell me about that. Let's pause on that, because a lot of people make a mistake. Always, right? You see two different people, right?
Yes.
You see the one that's not willing to back themselves, and I don't mean this in a bad way. No. It's just the bloody truth. Yep. Is that look at the dollars in the bank account. They can't afford. They go straight away. Oh, I can't afford $3,000 for a bloody qualified chippy.
Or I don't have enough work for another chippy, so I just hire the apprentice to get
the apprentice, become a school teacher, have less time, and then go backwards because they can't go out and quote jobs.
Yeah, I started my business saying I'm not doing it. I'm going to hire good people. I'm sorry, but a first-year apprentice isn't going to be where a 10-year experienced carpenter.
Well, they're not even at the stage of a labourer, to be honest.
And I didn't have the resource at the time to be pumping time into it. I'm focused on building the business and getting the right people in. So for me, it was a no-no. This one, Jed, just kept hammering me, but I'm like, mate, I just don't put him on. Anyway, he's from McWandle, he was 60 minutes away. And but he's like, mate, I've done my plumbing apprenticeship. I've got a full van full. I've done 4 years, and I'm 20. How old was he? He was 19 or 20, and he's like, I've finished it, but I want to be a builder. And I thought, well, he's gonna have half a brain. He's gonna be, he's got his tools. So I gave him a crack, and he was unreal, mate. Straight off the bat. So I got one good one, and
he's still with you today.
Yeah, but he's leaving in a couple of weeks.
Oh, so come on, Jed, stay, mate.
So he was one of the supervisors overall. So he grew, and then he done his building ticket real quick. We helped him out. Like I said, he drives 60 minutes to us, like to our projects, and he's up near Lake Macquarie Way, like Gwendolyn, and I gave him a go at a supervisor towards the end of a job at Pickett's Valley that we're running at the moment. We actually did a CDC to add on something else, and it was a big outdoor area onto the DA that was already there. So I got him to run that little part, which is great. He came up the other day and he's just like, mate, I feel like I need to step back a bit. I think that's maybe shown that he's not quite ready yet, or whatever it is, but he needed to be closer to home. He wants to be one-on-one with a builder, where you're not one-on-one with me or you with the supervisor you've got or whatnot. And he's going to go do that with one-on-one with the builder up in Toukley for a little bit. And then I said, but he's always got a job, mate. He's a gun. So, and I understand it. I think it'd be good for him to go learn somewhere else. And then if he wants to come back, he wants to come back. But he's got goals to start his own business later on. That's a win, that apprentice. And then I've had I won't mention names, a couple of average ones that I've had to get rid of, and they're hard to find. And and look, I'm not, people want to go there and get the clip of 900 every 3 months or whatever it is from the government. Like, for me, that takes more than $900 to fill the thing out. So it's like, you got to find the right ones. And I think where we're at the moment, I'd love to. We've got one that we're working with at the moment. We'll see how it goes. But we're more heavily on just bringing the right people and really good skill sets is sort of what I'm focused on.
I think one thing that has to change inside of Australia right now, and it's the quality when it comes through the people getting an apprenticeship. People aren't doing it. Like, how many people do you see that are becoming stonemasons? Like, that's a dying trade. How many people do you see, want to become a brickie? Like, there used to be the people that were like, well, you just did it, you became a brickie or you became a chippy. Like, I had no ambition to go, fuck yeah, I'm going to put on an L bag and become a carpenter. Like, it just...
it was just kind of normal for us. I think it was like, you do a trade, you leave school, you either go to uni or you do a trade. That was all I knew personally.
I got kicked out of school. My old boy was a chippy. He said, what do you want to do? I thought, well, I don't know, become a chippy.
See, I done mine a lot later. Mine moved a bit later. I was doing like me TAFE and that because I was heavily involved in footy. I was working in Sydney and all this sort of stuff. So I had to do my TAFE at night. So I was running that at night times, not through like the apprenticeship way. So, because I wanted to because I was flipping houses, I had to keep the cash flow coming, So I was like, no, I'm going to earn as much as I can, go to night, not see the missus for 3 years or 4 years and play footy on the weekends and just get all the cash in I could to build it to where I want to be. So I did it that way. Because like I said, it was just footy when I was younger. So I was a bit later.
The way that I see it changing, though, is businesses like yourselves, where they can see the projects that they can be around, they understand the vision, where they're going, then the business has drive to actually take them there. That's going to change. Because see how, young guys and girls and whatever, there's so much distractions on the internet. You know, get rich,
Shiny
move to
objects.
Dubai, I can get in crypto. Like, or there's so much bullshit out there
Yeah.
that they probably don't see, you know, construction is going to make the money, but it's going to change. Construction is the most
the one that's going to make the money.
bingo, 100%. Construction is going to be the most sought after industry because there's going to be less of them. We're going to start charging more. We're charging more than doctors do now.
Everything goes rare. They can become
Bingo.
expensive. And I've been saying this for a bit. I don't think AI can take over construction, mate. To be honest, I know they got these 3D printers, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get what these super developers are building and these designs. You're not going to get that from
Whatever house is going to look the same.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Be like going to a state.
Yeah.
So I personally believe what you're believing, and I think that it's going to be an industry that people should be jumping into. I think there's going to be massive opportunities in there, and I don't think there's a takeover for it.
I think a lot of people want
Necessity.
everything overnight, right? So if you are a young fella out there and you're
That's the
thinking
problem
about, that's right. Everyone wants everything now. If you're a young fella out there and, you know, you want to create something for yourself, I think construction is a really good path to take and, you know, put yourself in an environment where you are with a good carpenter, builder or, you know, plumber or electrician, whatever trade you want to get into. And, you know, do the 3 to 4 years and then go out on your own and work for a couple of different people. And, you know, within 8 years, you could be, you know, starting something pretty special.
Yeah, and building can jump onto a lot of different avenues, different ventures, you know. So there's a lot more opportunity in it if you want to use your brain and not just be one dimensional. And you know, there's so much more you can get from it.
You look at majority of multimillionaires, billionaires. What are their assets? Property.
100%.
What do we do? Build the bloody things.
Yeah.
So you've got that opportunity to, you know, learn a trade, become skilled at the trade, do it for a period of time, and then go out, buy a property, renovate it, make some money, move on to the next.
Any of these wealthy people, though, they generally got wealthy off one thing. They created one
thing,
business.
and then the first thing they jumped to would be real estate after that.
Correct.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Correct. 100%.
Yeah, it's a safe thing. You can touch, you can feel it.
Well, we know how to control it as well because we're around it. You know, like when I first started, I was doing a lot with orthopedic surgeons, right?
Yeah.
They'll throw money at me
Yeah.
because it was like, oh, can you go source me this property, renovate this property, make some cash? Here, take it.
Yeah.
So I kind of was thinking, you know, at that time, why are they giving me so much money? They can't do it themselves.
Exactly right.
You've got the option to do it. It's easy for us. It's simple, you know.
100%.
So
And
we
people-
look
and
at
there's so much time you got to put into it.
bingo. It's like us looking at them, you know, in a doctor's theatre doing a surgery. Yeah, it looks difficult to us. It's easy for them. It's the same with us with property.
We look how much time it takes leading up to start a build. What time you have to put into it. If you're not managing that for someone else and they got, you know, a successful business or a time stroke, how they can't do it.
Sometimes it's as long as the build, the design stage,
I
right?
got
It's
one
like
in the
12
middle of the
months.
council, Central Coast Council, hurry up and get it out. There's two of them, Copa and Avoca. I'm going to be bringing this after this, but
Come
they're
on,
just
council.
sitting there, like it's too hard to plan them. But yeah, it's like that one's been. I think we went from a reno to a massive reno, but to a mad new build. I've been working on that one for 3 years, and this is the new architect from Manly that I was talking about that we brought in with us, and 3 years now, and I'm like, I just want to build it.
And that's another thing too, where, you know, a lot of builders and developers go backwards. I know I've struggled with this a lot in the past where I nearly went belly up is because we're waiting in council and our money's out. You know, we're trying to figure out what we're doing. Like, how long's it? It's just, when is it going to arrive?
Yeah.
It never did. I remember a development that I did, and every single week I had stored in my phone that I'd just turn up there to shout out to Newcastle City Council. I used to turn up to Newcastle City Council.
Pretty quick up here.
Yeah, mate. Well, this development wasn't and got knocked back 3 times. And I used to sit in that office and just wait. They wouldn't have a conversation. I'd send an email 3 weeks later to come back. Like, we're burning money here. Like, I need a result. And
That's why those, you know, especially in a market like now where you can sort of play with where the long settlements and the option agreements are the biggest play now because people know they're going to
bingo.
Need the
get
time.
the money.
100%.
You can get the time, but yeah, it's money to burn when it's sitting there. But yeah, they need to speed it up down there, mate.
What's mate, in terms of company values, what are your biggest values when it comes to, you know, the business? What do you guys stand for?
Honesty's big for us. It's huge for us, and that's even us towards the clients, and I expect it back from the clients. And I end up being mates of all my clients. Like, they'll tell you now the ones that, and, you know, we have a great time. Like, you earn the trust at the start. And then it's a lot easier to build for someone who feels like they're your mate after a while. So honesty's big. I'm huge on the brand. So if you're wearing the brand, wear it with pride. You know, I want the guys to go to work and actually want to be at work and want to work for the company. And I can see it. Like I can see it if they don't. No, I don't want them there. I want people to be heavily involved and really be around the company. But yeah, honestly, take pride in your work. You know, quality is massive for us. Like at the end of the day, especially at the end. But yeah, just sort of stuff like that. And
it's
I
like
have a no dickhead policy that I told you.
Yeah.
That's the one right at the start. But then you want to break it down. It's more those things. And
yeah. I've got that no dickhead policy in life in general.
definitely.
We're talking about footy. It's like a footy team, you know, and I think if everyone understands, you know, we play for this team, we work for this brand, we know our positions, epic. Let's run the ball up and get the try, get the result. And I think too many, you know, companies are structured where, or it used to be. I used to work for that, and I'm sure you guys did too, where, you know, the bosses at the top was pointing the hurry the fuck up, get this job done. You don't perform in that environment.
No.
You perform in the environment where it's like, mate, awesome. What's your goals? What do you want to achieve? Can I help you to get there? I've got the vehicle to do it. Do you want to have a crack or not?
Yeah, exactly.
And when you give people them options, it's like, here it is. Do you want to have a crack or not? I'll help you get there.
This is what
it's up to them.
That's what we've done.
You can push on it. You can be harder. You can go, look, mate, I'm being honest. You said that you want this. You're saying that you want to achieve this. I'm giving it to you, but you're not doing it. See you later. You know?
Well, I'm pretty heavy on mate, I'll pat you on the back as many times as you want if you're doing good, but I'll give you heavy criticism if I have to.
You have to.
You've got to be open to it.
Mate, I expect the same with mates. You were talking about honesty. Like, honesty sometimes hurts. Honesty sometimes brutal, but you fucking learn from it. And I think that, you know, when people can be honest with you and they can give you that direct, it's the only way we grow. You know, so.
My missus would generally say, you're too abrupt. And I'm like, nah. It's like,
there's not enough men in the world.
I just want to say what I think and just move on.
100%.
After it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah,
100%.
Another big thing, that built when I built the business and I still heavily believe on now is relationships. So that for me is, to be honest, that's probably number one. You build a good relationship, you hold it for as long as you can, you do right in that relationship, they do right for you. I'm big on that, and I think that's helped us out a ton. You know, whether it's a real estate, whether it's an architect, whether it's, you know, another builder. You know, I'll talk to heaps of other builders, like really good builders I want to talk to. And
what's the network? We're all in here doing the same thing. What's the point of being enemies? You know, like,
realize that, like, mate, be happy for them. They build a good project. You know,
there's plenty of money to go around. There's plenty of projects to win.
We're 400,000 houses short in Australia, so you know, if you do it right, I'm sure you'll get one. It's like, it's just, relationships. Be happy for the people that you're involved around with, and help them push, and that's sort of the circle I'm trying to put myself in now at the moment.
You mentioned a bit about branding and marketing, right? It's 2026. We live in an attention economy. If you're not focusing on how you're perceived to your ideal client, you will never get to where you want to get to.
Be the best builder in the world.
100%. So you've done some amazing builds, and you've got some good, you know, videography on the socials and so forth. And mate, where do you start? Like, where did you start in order to position yourself in this luxury space?
Yeah, so in the marketing sort of world. Yeah, pretty funny. I jumped on Instagram, and that first build I did, I was telling you about that Matt got us down at McMaster's Beach, and I thought, I'm just going to jump on this story and cruise around and film myself. Started doing that through that build. Started attracting some, you know, a couple of messages here and there. Maybe I had 600 followers or something. And then I was like, no, I've got to be heavy with the brand. I wanted to make sure, like, we got this rebranded. I made my own one back in the day in my own home office, and you know, I thought it was good, but apparently people had done the new brand said it was terrible. So they're good. Their advantage at longevity, they're guns. So they done a new brand, just simple, clean. And so we ran off the back of that, and then started with a guy down there. Started getting the videos done. Started with one of the guys from Mirage. Started doing them. That started hit it off. Started to get a lot more followers and started to get the content out there really well with the reels, and then had another guy down there, and now I'm with the guy up here that he's brilliant, Harrison High Road Productions. So he does our stuff.
He actually shot my property
Harrison,
I just sold.
He's a good kid,
Mate. And he's got that
He's got the drive.
He's got the drive, and
He's passionate about it, and that's the difference.
Affirmations, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He's heavily involved.
Shout out young Harrison.
Yeah.
Mate, Harrison come back to my property 4 times because every time he came around, the rain would come out, and he was so passionate about making sure that we got it when it was sunny. So, mate, shout out to Harrison.
Yeah, well, he contacted us, and he's like, mate, I'll come and do your video for nothing. I just want to do your work. And I'm like, right, I come down. And that's when he done Belle. Like, and he blew the socks off it. Like, I think, I'm not to be biased, but I think it's one of the best real estate videos that has been done. He done the house justice, and like when I watched him, he stayed down there for 2 nights to nail it. He was just sweating. He's twisting up all the walls. I'm thinking, what's he doing? When he
Gets in his flow state.
Oh man, I was like, so I was watching him because I was opening up for him, wanting to get all different times for the shot, and then that thing went viral. I couldn't even boost it because it was over a minute 30. So I didn't use any paid ads. And we hit, I think we're at like 180,000 views.
Oh, yeah.
Just off
Organically, yeah.
Organically.
Yeah.
I was getting people from India that were real estate agents messaging me. So it just exploded. And then off the back of that, he got some good traction. I got really good traction. And so I just work with him now. And mate, our normal videos that we do together now, I know, for us, it's pretty good. I think we're pumping anywhere from 15,000 to 50,000 views, depending. And I think we're nearly 25,000. We're starting to really grow now in that space. So I'm using it heavily. I've got some other plans I want to do, but I want to start getting a bit more raw on it and sort of a bit more real on it. So we've got some things that will come up soon if they fall into place and I can talk about it. But yeah, I think there's a bit too much fluff out on social media.
I agree.
I don't want to be part of that.
The old saying goes, people like themselves.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
People want to
product,
see the story.
everyone's selling a product, service, or whatever. People either want to get the information or they want to build with someone that is like themselves.
Or
That's
they
who
want to
they
hear the real
trust.
story.
Bingo,
That's right.
100%.
So I'm pretty keen to give the real story, and some things don't go right, things don't go, things go good.
That's right.
But I'm happy to say the shit that doesn't go right. So I'm probably going to do some of that stuff soon.
Awesome.
See how it goes.
Awesome. Unreal. So branding's a big thing.
Yep.
Branding's massive. Mate, let's jump into the developments. And I want to actually put a picture up on the screen now of this beautiful property that you've just built. Give us a run through. What do you look at inside of a development, and where do you see the industry going?
So when I do my developments, when I pick them, I'm heavily, so I'm about the product. It might not be the most lucrative way to think, but I'd rather spend the extra money to get the right product done if it's in my head, and hopefully it gives it back to me. That's how I think. I'm mixing with people now. Like obviously, I'm about numbers as well, but I'm mixing heavily with people now that are super about numbers. So that blend might work out well with heavily numbers driven and still the product that I want to give. But obviously, we did Mirage, which still holds the record at 7 million for non-waterfront at McGee down at Wombrel. That's a cracker house, and we built that in 13 months.
13 months, far out. That's a big build. That's the big low set. Is that the one? It's
like 3 stories at the front, and then it's got all.
It's on a big property, is it?
No, that's Belle.
Oh, that's Belle.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this is before that one.
Yep.
So I exchanged. So we sold Mirage halfway through construction from 2 people walking past with their dog. For
Wow.
No way.
So that boosted the brand heaps, and we still hold that record. And it's an insane house. Like I can still go back there and see Drew and Mel and do a few things there, and it gets better. So that's always good to see. So that was 1,000 square metre site on top of McGee with the most insane views you've ever seen, front and back. And the biggest sale in that street, I think, then was 3.65 million. So, and that was 2 doors away. So when I was doing my valuation, I'm there, as you know, you got to do your values before you get your money. And I'm there, he says, what do you want? And I said, I want 5.5, 6 mil. He said, you're not going to get that. No one's done it. I said, well, yeah, this is going to do it.
That's the point. No one's done it. I'm doing it.
They gave me values of 4.2 million. So I've already bought the property, so I had to borrow off the back end of that, so you know how much money you're going to put in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll take risks, and I'll put more money than what I wanted to into that.
That is a risk. If no one's done it in the area and you've seen that
Well,
vision.
you're backing yourself. You're backing yourself.
You kind of second guess yourself, eh? You're like, have I bitten off a bit more here? What have I done?
But anyway, that's where you just got to bite down hard and just go for it. And we did, and I'll tell you a funny story. When I got the DA done, and I hadn't even set up to start the build, I got offered 6 million.
Wow. No way.
I was driving up to somewhere up north. I was going away with my mum and my family just to in a holiday house for a week. And I got the phone call from my agent, and I was like, I said, I got to talk to the missus. I was like, 6 mil. But for some reason, I should have took it, to be honest. But I'm glad I didn't now because the profit would have been average, like okay. And I was like, I ran back and said, no, I'm not going to take it. I think, what are you doing? He said, what are you doing? He said it back to me. And I said, I don't feel it. Like it started DA. Like, I mean, I haven't even started. Surely you can get something better. And then dealing with a guy at 6.5, probably halfway through construction, or not even halfway through, probably just getting the slabs and that down. And then got the top floor up, didn't even have to.
What year was this?
We sold that in 23 or 24. Yeah, it wasn't the best market there.
Yeah.
The you know, this I just want to pause here because this goes to anyone listening right now. You build a brand and you showcase what you do. People will buy before you.
Believe in it.
People will buy before you even build it.
Yeah.
Now you look at Rob Grayer and Andrew Grayer, right? The Grayer brothers up in Queensland. They just sold one of their waterfront properties. They bought it on an option agreement for 20 mil.
Cost them 650.
In
the end.
Yeah, and they sold half of that block
That's off
for
brand.
the same price.
It's off brand.
Now it's off brand. It's what you deliver, and it's the same as yourself. You know, you haven't even broken dirt yet. They're already offering you money.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I'm a big you deliver what you say. That's huge. Like I'll see the renders. I'll get the renders done real good, and then I've got to try and beat it. And I reckon we do. You know, you've got to do what you say. I'm like, you know, and I'd rather spend the extra money and get less kickback and do the right product because I think that'll bounce into the next one and
100%.
the next one. And it might take a bit longer, but I think if you do the right things, it'll come back. Something big will come back. And those guys are like they're on another level. Those blokes up there, so they're killing it. But so we did that one and that sold. And so the people walked across with their dog, and then I said, no, I'm not selling. I'm dealing with too many people. And then he said, no, you got to meet them. They live in the street behind. I'm like, the street behind, all right, Grove Road. And I'm like, they're like, yeah. And then 2 days later, they bought it for 7 mil.
Oh,
Done.
no way.
How did that feel when you got the valuation for the fours?
I
And
felt
then
like driving down there and throwing everything at them. I was like, you should kill yourself. But you know what it done for me to the next one? So when I bought the property at the Belle, look, that's a risk as well. Acreage, you got to find the right buyer. And we still haven't sold. Look, I'll be honest, but we've got plans for it, so that's okay. But it's the most amazing house that I've done to date. It's won every award, but not just for the house. It's won best pool. It's won, best home in a price category. It's won best landscaping, best use of stone. It's like it's done really well, and it's a cracker home. It's my favourite. It cost a lot. And obviously when you're doing acreage, there's a lot more to do than just the house if you want to make the acreage look good. So, we will break the record for acreage around now. I know that. We've already been offered to break the record, but it's just not where it needs to be at the moment. And we're in a struggling market, but I think you need to sell unconventionally, a bit different. I just look at, this one's got all so there's no neighbours on the left-hand side and in front of you. So it's all like rainforest between Romble and Matcham.
Oh, yeah.
So I looked at, you picture it in the backdrop, and I don't know if you've seen the video, the one that Harrison done, that it's unreal. And I sort of try and envision what we can build there. Sorry. And we went with Mediterranean Contemporary and sort of really blended it together. And it's, got bronzes and it's just different. And I love it. I look for something where I can create something cool. It's got to be the right block, the right site. But we've got to blend into some other different developments as well.
I like what you said then by creating the out of the ordinary, right? It's how anyone succeeds. It's not by just following like a sheep in a paddock. It's, create something different, get known for it, and it'll be successful. It's like you look at all, coastal builds now. They're out of fashion. Like they're gone to the days. Everyone just followed this coastal trend. And then some bloke came in and decided to do a Mediterranean build and it went off. Exactly. Like and now it's into ultra modern. It's like this cycle that we go through consistently. And
that design becomes normal, then you got to change and break something else.
Mate, when did people used to do 100 mil vanity tops?
No.
Like or
it's just
every house just had a 20 mil vanity top. Now it's 100. It's just normal.
Well, McGee,
you buy that from Bunnings.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So McGee Mirage that we done, the sold for 7. We went with like 100 mil there. I think it was 80 or 100 mil. I was like, that's going to be massive. And that was one of the first ones we did then. And now it's like, if you're not doing that, and now we're doing like 120 mil downturns on vanities and but it looks cool. And then insetting the bowl half in and half out.
Nice.
Like just doing real different sort of stuff. And you got to keep pushing it, changing it. Like I've got some weird designs in my head. That's why I want to bring the design heavily involved with us, like with the guy down from Manly, and be like when I do my developments, I'm pretty much designing it with them. Like if you've seen the one I designed for our house at Max, which I don't think no one's really seen yet, it's mental. Whether it happens and we do it there or somewhere else, but I'll show you after this. But the house is insane. Like it's completely different to what anyone else I think would design.
How many square meters?
I probably went a bit overboard on that one. It's about 1,000.
Yeah. She's a big dog.
Yeah, but it's sort of inset on the hill. So you come in, big garage, pool sits above the gym, and obviously, you got the glass where it shines down the gym, and then just big, long, up the top, just one big, long sort of open plan living. But then you go into your little wings. You got the parents' wing on one end, and then you go for another little wing. You got the kids' tree on the other end. So whether we do that one there, we'll see what the world brings us. But I just want to keep changing the design and create some good stuff down there, because the Central Coast is still a little bit behind from obviously Goldie, Sydney. It's starting to catch up now, but yeah.
What would you say to someone out there that's either been in their business for 5 years, they're struggling with a hire, they don't know, what they're going to do next in order to get their time back, they're feeling capped, they're going home, they're drained, etc., and the young guy just starting out?
Number one, first we'll go over the guy that needs to make some decisions. Well, number one, you got to back yourself. Like I said before, what's the worst that can happen? Like, just give it a crack. If it works, it works. It doesn't try to get in 2 years' time. Like, it's really, like
I think everyone forgets that we all do die. Like, there comes a time when you do die. Yeah. So what's the point? Just go.
Most people die at 35 when they give up on their dreams. Honestly, and they do the same thing over and over again.
I was telling you this before. I had my best mate pass away at 36 years old. So I learnt more lessons from him during that time 5 years ago. And this was just pretty much when I'm starting my business. I had burnouts as well during the time, so they were no good. But I learnt more from him, where it's like, really, it's not that bad. Like, that's as bad as it gets. So what's the worst thing that happen? You're still breathing, you're still healthy. You can have another crack in 5 years' time, whatever. As long as you're healthy and you're doing what you want and you're loving it, you got to enjoy it. Number one, you got to love it. If you don't love it, you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Yeah. Like, if I didn't love and enjoy developments, I would have gave up ages ago, because you know how hard it gets. I would have gave up ages ago, 100%. But the passion's just too much. But yeah, just give it a crack, back yourself. And then a young bloke starting out, try construction. Try not to do what every other person's doing in the fad and just trying to earn a quick buck, because
it doesn't last.
It doesn't last, mate. You're going to jump onto something else, and money goes fast. Money comes in, money goes out. Like I said, do something you really enjoy. Paint yourself a vision. Like I said, I was a bit later in life. Like I always flipped early, but my, I guess, business ambition goals were a bit later. And that's why I'm teaching my kids now to try and learn because I didn't get that when I was younger. So teach them what I know now, and all the mistakes and all the fuck ups that I do all the time, and try and get them on the I guess the right path. But yeah, just heavily back yourself.
Let's forget the business for a moment. You mentioned the kids, right? You got the family as well. What part do they play in all this? And what's the why behind everything?
Well, they're the why. And that's another big thing. You got to work out your why. That took me a little while to work it out. But I did, and there's reasons for me that are the why, but my family's number one. I always wanted to have a nice home, or own a home.
Didn't come from much?
Nah. I was brought up in housing emissions, so it was it's an upbringing you wouldn't change. It's you learn a lot. You get tougher.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Nothing you really sort of.
You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I used to always say, like, if I do this and I lose this, I'm just going back to there and I can just do it again. Like, it's, I don't know, like it gives you a different sort of backbone.
When you start with nothing, you've got nothing to lose.
The only part that makes it hard is I feel like I'm going to lose for the family now. But my missus is pretty good. She actually said to me, "Don't worry, you can do it again." So.
Well, you got the tools, right? And once you've gone through it, you can tell the true story, and you can literally do it again.
A good wife too, just they don't want to go along the journey with you, but some of the outrageous things
I agree.
Might come up with, they've got to be, they've got to ground you. So, but my kids, I just want to give them everything I can, but I don't want to make it easy for them. But I want to show them a good path and leave a bit of a legacy and give them something that they can have and start off with. Because I think, in 20 years' time or 10 years' time, and when they're growing up and they're getting out in the real world, that I think it's going to be a lot more expensive than what it is. You think you're going to struggle now. Most people now most people's super now is going to their kids to get them started now. So I couldn't imagine what's going to happen in 10 or 20 years.
It'll be impossible to buy a property.
Exactly. So more of a legacy. Show them that, you can do something. Sometimes I would think, when I started, like, what are you doing? Like, fuck, do you really think you can do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, just show them that you can have a crack at anything. And if it doesn't work, so be it. You can rebuild. And just try and teach them them traits, I guess. But yeah, they're the why.
Love that. Absolutely love it. Mate, is there any final words of wisdom that you can give to anyone out there that's having a crack, anyone that's on the journey, or anyone that's
for a bit of inspiration?
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter how much money you got or where you come from, what you do. I think, I've seen people come from nothing that they've done so well. So well. And I've seen other people that come from a lot and done really bad. So I guess don't categorize yourself. Make sure, back yourself. Love it. Make sure you enjoy it. Build really good relationships. If you can cut them off at an early age, cut them off, because we're cutting them off now. And yeah, just believe in yourself, really. Just give it a good crack and build something good.
Justin, thanks so much for the pod, mate.
Cheers.
And,
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and cannot wait to see this next build and the sale.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.